The old adage goes that customer is king. So my question to you today, can you fire a customer? Have you ever fired a customer? Recently, in one of the marketing magazines that I write for, I've written for the last 10 plus years, one of the readers asked a question to the editor. At what point do you part ways with a customer who has proven to be very difficult? And in fact, he challenged the editor that in the next issue of Marketing Africa magazine to run an article on at what pain point do you part ways with a customer. And that jogged my mind. In one of the FMCG companies I worked for, I remember one time a customer brought in a complaint. They first of all spoke, it was about a fabric softener that we had just launched into the market. So the client bought it from one of the supermarket chains. Allegedly, according to her, she went home as she was using it to rinse her clothes. They got bleached and her hands also got bleached and they were injured. So she complained to the supermarket chain branch. The branch manager referred the case to their head office. Their head office called us. We tried to do a remedial with the client. The client refused. And then she was referred back to the office, now to our office, to come and speak to the customer service. And she was carrying along her clothes and that particular product that she said had an issue. So analyses were done in the laboratory, and according to the Q&A, Quality Assurance Department, no problem was with the fabric softener. Maybe it was the way it was used, or probably the water. So she was given an assurance of compensation, number one, of her clothes, number two, of any psychological anguish, number three, more product to be able to take her back to her former situation. She said no way, and she said she wants to sue. Remember, this is a newly launched fabric softener in the market, and it was creating some waves. So even at one point, questions started being raised within the company. Could it be competition that is up to no good and it is coming through one of the clients quietly? That was number one. Then number two, she was now referred to one of the directors. And at that particular point, the director said, we have tried 1, 2, 3 things. We have tried to speak to you. We have done analysis. We want to compensate you both psychologically and even because of the anguish and any medical bill. But you have said no. You want to go the legal way. We part ways here. Don't even consume our that product anymore, and you are free to go. That customer, in short, was being fired. Can you fire your customers? There are 4 reasons that can make you fire your customer. The first one is when your customer starts asking you to operate in a questionable way. Maybe they are doing some illegal transactions and they are using you as a conduit for that money for whatever reasons. If you doubt the ethical way your client is operating, you may decide to part ways. The second reason why you may fire your client is when they prove to be very difficult to work with. Of course, challenges go with customer service. So you can never run away from a client because they are just difficult. However, there is a rule we call the Pareto principle of 80-20. That 80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers. Those ones you safeguard and work around them and you never lose them. You really, cherish them. The other 80, you also hold them because tomorrow you are going to grow them to the 20. But there could be 10 or 5% that are giving you very little business and they are causing a lot of problems. So those are the ones you may consider to fire. It is not easy to fire a customer, but those could be candidates of firing. The other reason why you can fire customers is when they become too abusive to your employees. Remember, your employees are your internal customers. Remember, your employees help you to deliver the service or product to the market. If a client becomes too abusive, and I've seen especially in public, in what you call public, for example, pubs. It could be a pub, it could be a bar. Somebody comes in, gets drunk, becomes very violent, not once, not twice, not three times. You as a general manager, as a manager supervisor, you've given him warnings. That is a client you may not need, because when they are abusive, and sometimes they also even kick your clients, kick your employees. Some of them might even harm them. Some of them probably are even gun holders or they have knives. That kind of a customer who is abusive to your employees is not a customer you need. So you may just tell them the management has a right of admission and you are no longer admitted to this particular club. Fourth reason why you can fire a customer is when they have no potential of ever referring you to any further business, and yet they are giving you very minimal business. At that particular juncture, you may decide, why should I be bothered with them? Finally, the last reason why you can fire your customers is when their mission and core values are no longer aligned to what your organization believes in. They have moved on into territories or areas you wouldn't want to be involved in. And when you feel they are no longer tied or aligning with your mission, vision, core values, then it can be a potential. That client can be a potential for firing. So, what are some of the strategies or some of the ways that you can use to fire a client? 1, apologize. By the time it reaches to a point of firing a client, you already believe that they owe you an apology. However, apologize to them. Tell them, we feel sorry, we can't be able to meet your needs. We just want to allow each other to go our different ways. Apologize. The second strategy is appreciate and be positive. Appreciate the business they have given you. Appreciate the years you have worked. Let them go with their head high. That, yes, we know we can't satisfy you, but we are so grateful of having met you and having done business with you, and we want to allow you to go your way. Third strategy you can use to fire your client or customers is format or formulate the situation. In terms of put the situation in perspective, tell them, for the last 5 orders we have given you, you don't seem to be satisfied with them. You have tried, you have come back, you have changed, you have come in, you have enjoyed our service for the last 5, but you don't seem to be satisfied. We don't seem to be able to satisfy your need, and we would allow you to be able to go out and access any other supplier or customer. Fourth strategy of firing a customer is refer them to another supplier. Tell them, yes, we are parting ways. Maybe you could try company X or company Y. Most likely they may be able to help you in terms of what you need. Finally, the last strategy you can use is use goodwill. Tell them The last 2 orders that you placed, or the last 1 order, we are going to cancel it and we are going to compensate you. Or the last service that you ought to have paid that you enjoyed, we are cancelling and we are giving you a refund. So let them walk away thinking or knowing they have gained a bonus point. At the point where you need to fire a customer, this should be done by a senior executive in the organization. Remember, in the case that I gave you of the FMCG, it took none other or none less than the sales and marketing director to be able to sit with our client and tell them, we are no longer together. Let's part ways. Let it not be done by any other person. Let it be done by somebody who is senior and higher up. What is our takeaway from this? It is not easy to fire clients. We know, especially after COVID, we are looking for every small business that comes our way, but situations, as that particular reader of the marketing magazine asked, some situations may ask us to fire a